Okay, we made it through another week. Happy Friday, June 11th, 2021. We got Finish Strong Friday today, and we have got session 4 of 5 on self mastery. Master these 10 habits and be the master of your world. I love this quote: mastering others is strength, mastering yourself is true power. I read that every single day in my Phoenix Journal and love it. Let's love that quote because it really puts things in perspective in my life. Hopefully yours as well. All right. Well, today we're going to actually get into the habits. We've been kind of talking about the basics of habits and forming good ones and forming bad ones and what habits and cues and all these things are. So now we're going to get down into it and talk about these 10 habits that can really make a difference in your life. And let me back out of here real quick so you can see the screen full. And there we go. All right. Well, while there are many positive habits with far-reaching consequences, we're going to go through several of the best. We're going to go through 5 of them today, and then next Wednesday on our WHAM weekly accountability meeting session, we're going to finish off the list with the last 5. And then I've got some other goodies for you next week as well. But if you're looking to make a positive impact on your life and to improve your influence over yourself and your world, consider these habits because you want to choose one or create your own that matches your situation and get busy. So you can modify these based on your situation, but these are just some core habits that you really should be considering. All right, well, let's take a look at the first one here. And my first one is meditation. I don't know what your first one was, but meditation has really made a difference. It's really something that was kind of introduced to me, through your working out and then getting into yoga, then getting more into meditation, stress relief. And this picture is really, for those of you that don't really understand meditation that much or like think it's kind of voodoo stuff, the before and after picture is really the definition of meditation. You go in and you're just full. You got stuff all coming at you from all directions. All these messages have come into you through social media, just the TV, just driving down the road and seeing all these signs. All this stuff's in your brain. You got all this stuff in your calendar, all the things that people want you to do, things that you need to do, and you just need to get that stuff, some of that stuff bailed out for a minute. So that's the before and the after, and that's what it should look like when you go through the proper meditation. But one of the most common habits among highly successful people is engaging in meditation or some type of spiritual practice. I know I was watching a Shark Tank, I guess maybe a month back or something, and I forget which guy it was. It wasn't one of the normal characters. It was one of the guest folks that come in, and he talked about the fact that meditation is just a huge part of his day. And it really is when you sit down and talk with people, and but a lot of people get this. They think you gotta have incense and a certain position and doing alms and all this kind of stuff. But meditation, it could just be a spiritual practice, just like just part of your prayer. Just That's really just selling yourself down. But medication, meditation. That's what most people use is medication, which is unfortunate for stress. When meditation would actually work, but it's dismissed by many success-minded people as a waste of time. But that's a mistake. People, oh my God, I only got so much time. I'm not going to sit down there for no damn 20 minutes and just do nothing, right? That's wasting my time. Well, that's a mistake. Meditation gives you a much better understanding of yourself and really more control over your behavior because you can sit back and you can really your mind will just it'll set you free. It will. It'll bring in all the outside things that you all the forces that you need. It'll put those forces out in the universe for you, and it'll really get your mindset where it needs to be every single day. Get you set, get you ready, and then you can go. But there are numerous benefits to meditation. Let's go over a few of these. First one, obviously, is emotional health. Your self-image and outlook on life will improve because you're taking 3 steps back. You're disengaging from all those situations that have got you stressed out, and you're able to go back and just take really almost a drone view of what's going on. And then meditation has also been found to decrease symptoms of depression. So you sit back and like I said, just take it easy and deep breaths and calm down. And the instant of positive thoughts is going to increase because you're there. And it's just you're just going to settle down and let that positivity come into yourself through your breaths and just again just going to calm you down and get your spirit in the correct place. Attention span is enhanced. The intensity of duration of your concentration is increased, and over time, that's one of the biggest problems with folks starting or issues. People starting with yoga, with I got medication, yoga, I got everything in my brain. With meditation, they just can't concentrate. Well, it's like anything else. It takes time. It takes practice. You'll get used to it. Your brain hasn't done this before, and it's just used to racing, and you've got to get that thing settled down. Especially some of the younger folks out there who just can't live a day without your cell phone in your hand. I mean, you can't go through a minute without it. It's got to be with you all the time. Let's get rid of the tech and let's get back to what God gave you and just work on your mind. You'll be able to stay on task longer, and you'll be able to get more accomplished because again, you've set yourself up properly for the day. And you can do these in the morning and in the afternoon. You can do them in the evening. You can do them in the middle of the day whenever things start to get kind of crazy for you. Just disengage for a little while. And you don't have to do a 20-minute one. Just do a little 5-minute one at your desk. And also, help your brain in later years. I probably should have started way earlier. As far as I'm concerned, but memory, mental quickness, and attention are enhanced in seniors that meditate regularly. I've known some folks that met some folks some seniors that I mean just super super sharp, and I visit their house and go, oh wow, you have a whole room here that you've been doing this meditation for a while, huh? Yeah, I have. Okay, well, cool. Let me give that a shot. They've even been some dementia patients that have shown improvement through meditation. And we're not here to do any medical claims. We're just here to say these are some things that we've seen as benefits. Definitely lower stress and reduces anxiety. There's really no doubt about that. It's been shown to reduce the symptoms of social anxiety, phobias, panic attacks, and obsessive compulsive disorders. So if you got some issues, I'm not saying get off your meds. I'm not saying don't see your the person that you're meeting with, your counselor. I am saying try meditation and you'll just settle things down. And it'll also reduce the general level of anxiety that you experience every day. It just will. Centering yourself, talking to the source of all your power, and again, just letting yourself settle down. And self-awareness, obviously. You learn much about yourself and your thoughts when you meditate regularly. Because as you get going, your subconscious understands what's going on. And finally, you're getting down to where what I call the rubber meets the road. You've got all these goofy thoughts. They're out of your head, and they know not to be there because this is time for deep reflection, and you really get to the core of in the heart of the matter with yourself, and the importance of this point. It just can't be overemphasized because you do learn a lot about yourself through meditation. So. Let's pay attention. Now, there are two general styles of meditation. For our purposes, you're going to have seated and walking. And most people think of meditation as seated, right? And when you're seated, there's several traditional styles, almost always with your eyes closed because you have to have your eyes closed just to concentrate and focus on your breathing or just maybe just partially open, but closed is really better. But you've heard of the lotus position and the half lotus and the Burmese and the zafu, which is with a pillow. underneath you, or says, or just a chair. You can just sit in a chair. I mean, a lot of folks, I can't get down on, I can't cross my legs. Like, well, you don't, that's not, the point isn't that you have to learn how to pretzel yourself. The point is for you to get comfortable and calm, so that you're not really tensioning any muscles, and you're just breathing. And seated meditation does just focus on the breath, and it's usually in for 3, hold it for 3, and out for 3. It's a 3 count, and just and you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, and it's making it happen. So feel the air moving in and out of your nose. And when thoughts pop in your head, return your attention to your breath. And it's because you're going to have a lot of things come in. You're going to maybe hear a little noise and you go, oh, yeah, I got to do that. No, I got to hurry up and get through this because I got to do that. No, this is your time. So just concentrate on your breathing, and we'll get into this a little bit deeper later. But notice how thoughts just randomly come into your awareness. They're just going to be popping in and popping out. But the key is not to engage with these random thoughts. We're trying to, again, that brain's full of things, and we want to break that down. Maybe just 4 or 5 little things that really are important, and just let them go and return to concentrating on your breath. Now, if you're in the Facebook group, you know that I put out a meditation not too long ago because in Beachbody On Demand, we have a whole series on just meditations. Really, really good stuff. That's worth $99 a year right there just to get those things. But I put one out there for you so you could you kind of practice, and we do a lot of these things A to B from anyway. So we got a lot of meditations out there for you in the network. But walking meditation. Beauty surrounds us, but usually we need to be walking in a garden to know it, because we don't get out. We don't get out and see the beauty in life. And walking meditation involves doing an activity while you're focused 100% on the task at hand. So you could be walking, washing dishes, mowing the grass, or driving to work. And I tell you, when I get out there, we have a lot of grass, land. So I can spend half a day out there messing around. And I tell you what, mowing it just really kind of does it for me. I mean, it clears my mind, and you can sit out there, and I've got one of those iPods, and I turn that thing on, and I'm just rocking and rolling. But if I turn that off, it gives me a lot of time just to be with myself, and driving to work, turn the radio off and be with yourself. Now, some of you're like, well, I don't like myself. Well, we got to work on that too, right? But just disengage when you're doing some things, and just because again, most of these things are just habits anyway, right? They're automatic. The subconscious knows what to do. If you're mowing the grass, it's not going to let you run into a tree. You're automatically going to turn left or turn right or whatever it is. So you have time just to work on yourself. It's not about zoning out or daydreaming. That's not what we're talking about. In fact, it's really the exact opposite. When you're meditating, you're focused. You're just focused on your thoughts, and just keep returning your attention to your breath, or your task, and it'll all work out for you. And I mean, it might be like I walk on the beach. There are these circles, that we go through, that the meditation circles, it looks like a maze, but you can go through those, and the point of those is you go in, very slowly, and by the time you get to the center, you've got all those other thoughts out of your head, and then you allow yourself to come back out. So it's just one way of doing it. I mean, meditation circles are real popular, of course, on the left coast out there. And I've been San Francisco. They've got one set up, and I did a circle out there, but you can do one in your backyard or wherever. But just a little maze, or just hiking. Just go hiking on a trail. Get out there and just be with yourself. And just in nature, and just listen to nature, and listen to your thoughts. So that's walking meditation. You can do that anywhere. Now, the process will help you create, sustain the meditation habits. We're going to talk about building the meditation habit here, and we're going to go back to just regular habits, right? Got to create a cue. Like any habit, your meditation habit will require one or more cues. So pick a time and a place for your meditation. and choose appropriate cues. Right now, if you've been with us and gone through Deep Dive to Destiny or 84 Days, you know that we talk about this a lot in Miracle Morning and getting it done really first thing. Get up. And get things going, and then get your meditation done. So maybe it's at night. Putting the kids to bed. Maybe you put them to bed, and then it's your meditation time. It's time for you. Getting in the shower, hitting the snooze button on the alarm clock. That might be a time for you to think about meditation. I know that Darren Hardy, one of the things he does, he does hit his snooze, but he takes that time for appreciation of others and different types of things. So maybe that's a time for you to meditate. Just don't go back to sleep. Driving the car, again, when you're in the car, turn the radio off, and that's the time to get your thoughts right. Eating your lunch, go out to the park, somewhere, find a bench, eat your lunch, and just concentrate on your breathing or your chewing or whatever, and do some meditation or changing out in your workout clothes when you get back from your workout or something. Maybe that's the time when you sit down and take a few minutes for a little bit of meditation. So create the cues when you know that you're supposed to be doing that. And anytime you're going to try and change a habit, you've got to get your subconscious on board. So you got to have cues involved. Um, Start small. Again, we talked about this in formation of habits a few days back. You might want to do a little studying on meditation, obviously, or take a course, or just get some apps. There's plenty of apps out there on meditation. But this simple description is enough to become very good at meditating. It's quite simple. It really not necessarily easy, but you want to start small. Just meditate for a minute. Just get down there and do a few breaths and meditate for a minute and just get in the habit. It's kind of like when we talked about working out or doing push-ups. You got to get on the floor, right? Now, if you're going to do a push-up, you got to be on the floor. So start small and just get down on the floor. but meditate for a minute, and then just increase the duration of your meditation over time. You'll find it's like anything that's good for you. You're going to find that once you start seeing a few benefits, you're going to make time for it. It's not going to be something that you don't have time for anymore because you realize, wow, that really did help. But increase your meditation time over time, and eventually you want to have maybe a single session that lasts about 20 minutes. It's going to allow you to de-stress, get into your breathing, be in the zone for a while, and then bring yourself back out. And if you meditate more than once each day, of course, you can make some other sessions shorter. So maybe you have a main meditation in the morning or in the evening, or maybe both. One getting ready for the day and one de-stressing and coming down from the day, and then maybe one at lunch, where you just settle yourself again, because that's probably when you need it most, is in the middle of the day, because you've gotten into a lot of situations by then. But if you set yourself your day up right by having one in the morning, that should help you get through again the morning, and then just a brief one at lunch maybe, and then maybe a little bit on the drive home, and then maybe after everybody settles down and at home and you got some quiet time, maybe hit another one before you go to bed and get yourself ready for the next day. But reward yourself. Again, it's another part of just a regular habit, right? You got the cue, you got the actual habit, and then you got the reward. You might find that the meditation first, you might want to reflect on how awesome it is that you successfully meditated, right? Just, wow, hey, I did it. This is cool. I never thought about doing this before, and I was skeptical, but hey, this was pretty nice. Or might want to allow yourself, to play a video game for 10 minutes. I don't know. That's not a reward for me, but there might be some folks out there that you're taking something away to make time for you to meditate. So maybe when you have a successful one, maybe you take the time to play what you missed, right? So you don't feel totally defeated. Or just one of the most important habits that you can develop, and it's also a wonderful way to interrupt your bad habits. And that's really really key there. It's going to help you interrupt bad habits. If you got a big decision coming up, I would definitely talk about putting that in meditation. We talked about in our weekly challenge the difference between stimulus and reaction, and that middle time is really time where you should take a little time to meditate and be sure that your response to whatever the event is the proper one. And the only way to do that is to literally take 3 deeps and get some meditation time and prayerfully consider what your response is going to be so that your outcome is what you want it to be. All right. Well, let's look at. I love this quote by Gretchen Rubin. She said, "We can use the willpower to. We can allow the extraordinary power of habit to take over. At that point, we're free from the need to decide and the need to use willpower." And that's from her book Before, Better Than Before. But when you feel yourself triggered to perform a negative behavior, just go ahead and meditate instead. It's one of the best ways to shortcut your bad habits, and you'll feel better too. And again, it'll just become automatic for you. You'll make this a habit of pausing. So when you get that trigger to do something bad, just meditate on it, and I guarantee you, you'll deviate from that bad habit. And it's one of the best ways. When you're looking at your habit tracker every day, is to make sure that you get these things accomplished. Is you want to shortcut them, and the best way to do that is just taking a pause and doing a little meditation and thinking about it and moving forward with the right thing. So let's look at meditation. Spend a lot of time on it because I really do think it's just super important for you. All right. Well, number 2, read and learn. We have never ever. If you want to become successful, it's important that you learn and continue learning. And again, reading is an excellent way to accomplish it. But I tell you what, for me, we do deep dives. You got to deep dive into this stuff. You got to get your highlighters out. You got to get your sticky notes and your post-it notes and all these things. And you have to really take apart these texts, because the reason why all these were written, well, a lot of them were written just so people could make money, but the real purpose of writing them should have been, for most of them it was, to help you and to help you implement what these folks have uncovered as being successful habits and traits and ways of doing things. So you just don't want to read it, you want to learn it. And 30 to 60 minutes of reading each day is usually enough. We talk about here for me, just commit to 10 pages a day. And then when you get through 10 pages, you might want to do a little bit more. But you don't have to sit here and take a half a day every day to read. If you just read 10 pages a day, that's how many, man, 10 pages times 3, that's 3,650 pages a year that you read, and that's easily 10 books, maybe 12, maybe a book a month. Just read 10 pages a day, and it allows you to increase your knowledge of the world and any subject that's important to you, so you can expand out on different things. Maybe you take 10 minutes in the morning to do some self-help or something like that, and then you take 10 minutes at night to just do something that's fun for yourself, that doesn't have anything to do with personal development. Maybe just a nice fun topic that you want, or maybe some fiction, right? Some trash in your head. But anyway, think about what you could do better, or how your mind would expand if you only had more knowledge. I mean, the key to life is knowledge, really. You might want to know more about online sales tactics, public speaking, or, maybe why industry failed if you're starting a business, or look at some industry stats or something. So pick out some things that really, really are of interest to you. And perhaps you have an interest in learning how to write. So you can create your own, masterpiece, or your own novel. So there's a lot of things you can do, but you're not going to learn anything if you're not reading. The information's out there. It's just everywhere. You just need a habit, need to get in the habit, that knowledge of getting that knowledge into your brain, and daily reading habit will accomplish it. So read and learn, and let's get that rolling. That's one of our keys here, A to B for me. Read, learn, and implement. That's the only way to get it done. All right, well, let's look at Read, Learn, Implement. These are the top 5 ways for creating a reading habit. So we're going to talk about number 1, determine what you want to know. You got to know the purpose of really, you're not going to read it, because if you haven't figured out what you want to know, then you really don't have a mind map to get there. But what information would help your success the most? Now, whatever it is, whatever area it is. Remember, success at us is just, it's not the S is at the beginning and the end aren't all dollar signs. It's not all about money. Success is relationally, it's mentally, it's socially, it's physically. Your career, of course, is part of it. Financial is part of it. Relationships are part of it. Spiritual is part of it. So maybe it's just reading the Bible 10 minutes a day. I do that along with my self-help in the morning. Make a list of everything you wish to know. I wish you knew. I mean, there you go. Let's just do everything almost we talk about here at A2B for me. We're making a list about it, right? When we talked about life purpose, when we talked about our why, when we talk about our core values, it's all, you got to have a list. But when you're reading, just make a list of everything you wish you knew, and keep your goals in mind while compiling that list. In the back of the Phoenix Journal, it's a perfect place to put your reading list back there. So what I do is when I'm going through and I'm reading, a lot of great public speakers and authors will always mention books that they've read or make quotes from other people. And if I haven't read that book, I'll write that down, put it in the back, and at the end of the month or whatever, when I go back and there's my Amazon list right there of books to go get. And then create a time and trigger for your reading habit. Again, here we go, another trigger, right? You're going to get up 30 minutes early and read, or you're going to do it right before bed. Now, time shift is very important here again. If you're going to get up early, don't feel like that you're depriving yourself from sleep and fall asleep while you're trying to read. Time shift, go to bed a little bit earlier and get up a little bit earlier so you get your proper night's sleep and do your reading. I like reading in the morning. It's quiet. No one else is up. It's just me. If I do it right before bed, it's probably going to put me to sleep. But I do try sometimes to read before bed, and it's way better than going to bed right when you turn off the blue screen and try to sleep. So maybe you take that 30 minutes away from the blue screen. That'll settle your brain down and just do some reading before bed. But know your trigger. You have to know your trigger. It might be after putting your socks on in the morning or brushing your teeth at night, but find something you already do each day and link your reading habit to that. Okay, it might be, mine is basically, I'd get up, I take the dog out, get back, I've got my first cup of coffee rolling, and that's when I do my reading. And then I do my reading, spend about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes there, and then I get up and do my first little stretching and workout of the day. So just know your trigger, in your body. Your subconscious will say, hey, it is time, let's do this, and it will become a habit for you. Number 3, start small. Like everything else, if you're not a fan of reading, just go for a few minutes at first. Like I said, just try for 10 pages a day. Let's get you a little bookmark and put it back there, and it's just 10 pages a day. And when you're done with 10 pages, stop. Right now, I usually try and find a kind of a natural stopping place. Don't stop mid-sentence or anything like that, but just go through and say, okay, put your bookmark back there, and so you know, hey, that's where I'm going to start, and that's where I'm going to stop. Make it easy. Have a comfortable place to read, and keep your books nearby. You know, mine are right here. The ones that I'm going on, if you see me on a Zoom or something, they're right here, right where I'm at. And there's one right by the bed that I'm going to read when I go to sleep. My Bible's right here. My book that I'm reading every day is right here. So I've got them all near me. And reward yourself. Hopefully the knowledge you gain or thrill of changing your behavior will be enough, but maybe you need a little more at first. But the best gift that you can give yourself is a habit of reading something helpful each day. I'm telling you, it's going to make a huge difference in your life. Some of you out there hadn't read a book since you got out of school, right? I mean, you had enough of that. I mean, and you probably weren't reading them back then, right? When I was in college, I was always buying Cliff Notes because I didn't want to read the whole daggone book. I just read the Cliff Notes, right? But there's no limit to what you can learn or become if you read regularly, and determine what you need to know and allow your reading habit to make it happen. And sometimes when you go back to that first step of what do I want to know, sometimes it's just a matter of maybe you want to go out and just start reading some covers. Maybe go out there and get some. Just go on Amazon and read some descriptions of what it's about and see if you really want something you're going to do it. But we want you to read, learn, and implement. So, and then, of course, you can get into some of our deep dives, and we'll take these things further. And if there's something out there that you think we ought to be doing a deep dive on it that would help other people, let us know. I'll be happy to look into that and put together a deep dive on it. All right. Number 3, learn from your mistakes. Okay, we're talking about failing forward here. And I love this quote: fail early, fail fast, and fail forward. Because leverage your mistakes and make the most of them. That's the point. I mean, you don't want to get down and out and all frustrated by them. Just leverage them, because mistakes and failures are regular occurrences, and until you get that in your brain, in your subconscious, that they're just regular occurrences, and they're everybody. Who's working on big goals is going to have failures and mistakes. That is part of life. And ideally, you're not going to repeat the same mistakes. Now, we do, and we go, duh, I can't believe I did that again. But you want to try not, so leverage them. Because if you continually make the same mistake, well, that's just another definition of madness, right? It's just insanity. Like, man, I just can't believe. I knew that wall was there. Why do I keep walking into it? But it afflicts nearly everyone, and we'll sit there and we'll do the same damn thing time and time again and think it's going to change, right? And a lot of times you may change if you're a serial entrepreneur like me, and you've done several different things. You may try the same daggone strategy that didn't work somewhere else, and you're going, well, okay, why did I think it would work here when it didn't work there, right? But it's challenging enough without making it harder on ourselves by doing something over and over again. So you have far fewer mistakes in your life if you only made new mistakes, right? I mean, there's enough new ones out there, and that's really what's going to get our growth anyway. Is getting out there and just fail some more. I mean, get out there and just make fail a friend. I mean, don't accept it, but I mean, but don't accept it as defeat. Just get out there and say, hey, yeah, I zigged, I should have zagged, right? That's okay. I'm still alive. Fail early, fail fast, and fail forward. And I love this quote by Dale Carnegie when he said, feeling sorry for yourself and your present condition is not only a waste of energy, but the worst habit you could possibly have. So don't feel sorry for yourself and get into a pity party and the woe is me crap if you have some failures and mistakes. Everybody is failing, right? The overnight successes are the people who have failed for 10 years, and all of a sudden they figured it out and they're an overnight success, and everybody's like, man, you're the smartest person on the planet. But all they did, they just had decades of just frustration, but they finally made it, right? So don't feel sorry for yourself. That's the worst habit you could possibly have, so let's don't go there. All right, here's what we want to do. Reflect, plan, and execute. We talk about this all the time, every day, every night, every morning, every weekend. Reflect, plan, execute. So you want to set aside a time to identify your mistakes each day, and hopefully that's in the morning or in the evening. But sit down once each day and review your day. List everything that went wrong. Now you've got your successes and your failures, so look at what went right as well. I mean, you may have eaten an unhealthy lunch. You may have got to, work late. You might have lost a big customer. You might have unintentionally insulted somebody, right? Or forgotten to get gas in your car. Missed your child's baseball practice. That's probably the worst thing right there. But stepped on a nail in the garage. Ouch! Just everything that wasn't the way you wanted it to be. And then you can plan on how to make things better, right? So if you don't reflect, how are you going to plan to change things? So don't just dismiss these things, but don't make them huge, ugly old monsters on yourself either. But just be honest with yourself and reflect and say what happened, and find a better way. Go through your list and develop one or more solutions to each mistake, right? Well, you didn't eat a healthy lunch. Well, maybe you should have packed it, right? You may do some food prep next week. You arrive late to work. Well, it's the traffic. Well, do you have an app for that? I mean, maybe just go a different way. I lost a big customer. You're probably going to want to really diagnose that and maybe get some peer help on that and figure out what happened. Unintentionally insulted a customer. Well, our coworker or someone. Well, that's unintentional is the key there. Everybody's got to understand. Hey, I apologize, and let's get past this. But just little things. I mean, post-it notes may help you. To-do lists. I've had post-it notes all over my car at times saying, "Hey, do this, do that, do that." But if you just got a planner, just get you. I tell you, a lot of this stuff in this number one would not be there if you just got yourself a Phoenix journal or some type of planner and put in my ideal day for today. And this is what's going to happen, and follow it. And I guarantee you, your reflect, plan, execute thing, you're going to get the execute part. Okay, which is coming up here. Put your plans into action. Life isn't an intellectual exercise. Nothing happens until you do something, right? You got all these great things you think about doing, but you got to execute. So create a habit of this process. You already know how to do it. Remember, you have a cue, a trigger, and a reward. So in all these things, just put a cue, a trigger, and a reward in there. And by all means, just be consistent. Just got to be consistent and persistent, and you're going to win this game. But avoid the tendency to keep repeating the mistakes. All right, if you got that nail in your foot, well, go clean the garage, right? I mean, no more nails, but use them to adjust your approach, your results. You're going to make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. Just ensure that you make the most of your mistakes. In other words, fail forward. In time, you'll learn that failures and mistakes are actually helpful because they're going to teach you what not to do. And when you get all the not to do's out of the way, what's left? All the to do's. So don't worry about it. Every day, if you just stay on top of it, reflect, plan, execute. Maybe it's a midday thing as well. How did it go this morning? Well, what do I need to do this afternoon? As many times as you need to, but you're not going to be able to do it if you don't have a good planner, a good journal to keep you on track. Don't sit there and think you just going to do this by memory and, oh, yep, I'll remember to do that. Don't do that to yourself. There's no point of it. Daddy used to tell me all the time, yeah, I don't know why you're memorizing all those sales prices. Just put a list in your pocket and pull that out. People they don't expect you to memorize everything. Just pull it out of your pocket and read it if you need it, right? So don't try. You got other things you need for your brain power. So if there's something you can put off on a piece of paper or on your journal or something, put it in there and just reflect back to it. All right. Number 4, maintain a vision of the future, right? That's what it's all about. Thoughts, habit, character, destiny. What's the destiny going to be, right? How do you want your life to be? Again, what do you love doing so much that the words failure and success essentially become irrelevant? That was a quote that I've just picked up last week's Thrive Thursday, and I love that one now. But if you don't know how are you going to get there, right? I mean, if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? There's no way you could put a map together if you don't know what the destination is or what the destiny is. But having direction for your life is important. So a lot of people, they forget the plan. And if you forget the plan, you're done, right? Because you gotta know what the plan's all about. And goals serve the purpose of moving your life from where it is to where you want to be. And that's what A to B for me is all about. Where are you now and where do you want to be? And let's figure out how to get there. Well, We got to get there through thoughts first, then action, then habits, then character, then destiny. But you got to review the goals daily to keep you on track. Now, where in the world could you possibly put those goals? Well, maybe in your journal, maybe in your planner every single day. You got to look at these things, and probably at night too, right? Double dose yourself. And if you don't normally have a few goals, we got to make some. So this is pretty obvious. Some of you folks are just coming into us. We talk about this all the time. If you're in A to B for me, you're like, well, duh, no, you got to do goals. Well, trust me, there's a point in your life when you didn't, and there's a point in some folks' life right now that they don't, right? But keep the future desire clearly in mind. You have to. Andre Moreau said, if you create an act, you create a habit. If you create a habit, you create a character. If you create a character, you create a destiny. Now that is pretty much A to B for me right there. They just left out the thoughts, because if your thoughts aren't right, you can't get the act going. Because if your thoughts are messed up and you get into action and you stumble, or you zig when you should have zagged, or something happened, you're dead. You hit a roadblock, you're done if your thoughts aren't there first. So, but we look thoughts, action, and we create a habit, and then your habits create your character. Your character is obviously your core values, and then you create your destiny. So that's the way it rolls here at A to B for me. All right, review. All right, you got to review at least once a day. Pull out your goals and review them. Visualize the achievement of each goal, and that's part of what we're talking about with meditation. You want to visualize your day. You want to visualize what you want. You want to visualize that perfect day. In some of your meditations, notice the details. What are the details? Get your brain in there. What the mind can conceive and believe it can achieve. So you've got to get your mind to believe it. So notice the details. Now, in these details, what do you see? Who else is in there? How do you feel? All these things. These are the things that you want to get rolling. Visualize the achievement in those details. What do you see? Who else is there? And how do you feel? And then number two, whenever you feel like giving up, what do? Well, you go back to your goals. You review your goals again. We give up on our goals when our short-term discomfort becomes too great. Okay? And this is a result of having short-term focus. Reviewing your goals reminds you of your long-term why. We get in there in the heat of battle, and we just can't make things happen, and we're getting beat up because we're not looking at the long term. We're not looking at our why, and that's why your why has to be huge. What are you doing this for? Because I'll tell you what, you can go through a lot of pain if the pleasure is going to be so great, but if you don't believe the pleasure's there, and you don't see it, and you don't see who else is there, and you don't feel it, you got to have it in your core. You just have to feel it. Then all these short-term things, these discomforts are going to take you off track. So that's why we got destinies in all these different areas. It's not just financial. It's not, we talked about before, all these different goal areas, you have a destiny, and you got to have a big why there. Again, what do you love doing so much that the words failure and success are going to become irrelevant? What is out there that it doesn't matter? I'm going to get there, right? And this habit will keep your goals fresh in your mind just by reviewing them, and your motivation is going to be higher, and you'll be less likely to quit. You're going to be less likely to procrastinate because you want to maintain your awareness of the future you desire. And this happens on your vision boards. Have things sitting around, pictures, things that remind you. And I've got them on my right, I've got them on my left, I've got them on my desk, I've got them everywhere that I see when I go do something. I say, man, get back in there and get on it, right? You'll find it easier to maintain your purpose and direction if you have your why all around you. And again, and especially every morning and every night, you want to review these things, because you got to remind yourself why you're putting yourself through this, because again, if you just have short-term focus, you're going to be dead. So you have to have short-term goals. Obviously, you have a daily goal. You got to have your weekly. We have our weekly accountability meetings, right? Staying on track. Got your 12-week goals. You got your 12-month goals, and you've got your longer-term goals. But you really got to know what the end result is and get that why done. But you've got to review these things. Number 5. eat healthy and exercise. It's kind of important. You've got to be around. Life is, if you're gonna, I mean, if you're not around, what's the point, right? But life is much easier when you're fit and healthy. That's just all there is to it. There are many diets and exercise programs to choose from. We know they're all out there. Again, it's just the knowledge to make them happen. But determine a healthy diet that works for you and allows you to maintain a healthy body weight. And you know what that is. And again, we probably eat the same 6 or 7 things all the time. It's just there's just some different order maybe, but just make sure that you diagnose these things and make sure that it's a healthy option for you, and find a form of exercise that you're going to enjoy that challenges your heart and your muscles. So find something that's going to be aerobic and anaerobic and get out there, but make it something you enjoy that you want to do. I love weight training, so that's not a problem for me. Some people hate it. I hate running, but some people love running. So just find out what makes you tick. Again, some people like running with a little bit of weightlifting. Others enjoy a good game of tennis. Whatever it is, whatever's going to keep you rolling. But you want to have some weight bearing in there as well, so that you can strengthen those bones. And really weight bearing exercises are going to put more stress on your muscles, and they're going to have to tear them and rip them and then repair them, and it's going to help you keep your weight where you need it to be. But this is one of the more challenging habits to create. It always is, always has been. Everybody's going to, that's first year is always going to be healthy, and this is my year, right? And then you fade away. With the urge to eat unhealthy foods is especially strong, and that is what derails us. A lot of times, nutrition first. Abs start in the kitchen. So if you're not eating right, forget the abs; they're not going to happen. So it all starts with eating properly, and then mixing in your exercise, so that you can get some load bearing and some aerobic to help your heart out. But the key to sticking with an exercise habit are making the time and finding something you enjoy. And it's not finding the time. It's making the time. And that's why the miracle morning is so very important, I believe, because you get so many things out of the way very quickly in the morning. You have all these early successes. You've had some meditation, you've had some exercise, you've had some reading, and you've reviewed your goals and all these things. You got them all out of the way early. And you have the successes ahead of you. And if you got time in the afternoon when you're stressed, go ahead and do another meditation, another exercise session or something. But don't. If you go out and you eat a nasty old meal, you're going to be in no shape to do anything in the afternoon. If you meditate, you're going to fall asleep. You're not going to want to exercise because you're so bloated and full. But to just take a look at your diet on a daily basis, and then make it part of your weekly plan. When you're going to do this, get in your habit tracker. What are you going to eat? And make it happen for yourself. All right. Well, that's it. Next time, session 5 of 5. We're finally going to get to the last 5. So I know that you're going to enjoy those, but I'm going to hop back in here for you. Went a little long today. And again, these things do take a while. So I wanted to make sure that you did have what you needed to get you through the weekend. So you got some time to review these and maybe go through this again over the weekend. Next Wednesday at our WHAM session, we're going to finish it up with the next 5. And hopefully you can go back and review the whole thing and get them all done. I hope you're taking some notes on these things and making sure that you get them done. But if we can do anything to help you, always reach out to us here at A to B for me, because that's what we're here for, to get you from A to be. So, duh, that's a pretty good name, right? Well, all right. Well, have a great weekend, and keep moving in the direction of your dreams. And I will talk to you on Monday. We'll have a great weekly challenge for you on Monday. But until then, have a good one. Talk to you later.